No, I can't let you go without a penalty. Nocturnal disturbance, and these are all serious offences.
No, sir, it was just a serious mistake. She had a drop of drink, sang a bit, and suddenly the watch arrested her. You want to put her into jail for that?
Look, I could settle the disturbance with a warning, but not the insult.
But she didn't feel well, officer. It was really an accident. The policeman stood right on the spot where she threw up. She had no bad intent.
Spare me the details. I have the report here. What were you doing out so late?
If it was me, you could put me in the coop. But she's a different case, you see. She hasn't anybody except me. Her parents died of the typhoid. We both have to muddle along, and once we come across some money, we want to enjoy it. What would the poor girl get from her life when she cannot even have a drink or two?
Please, spare me.
Let her go, sir. I bet you have plenty of work with real felons. Robbers, murderers, and at the top of the list, those hookers. For example, Willington Street swarms with them. You should get rid of them. And
Stop it. Nobody pulls my leg. You just wait right here, and I'll decide what to do with you. That's my last word.
This place seems to be built to command respect. I think I'll like it here. Good morning.
Morning, sir. How can I help you?
I am Detective Briscoe. Where can I report myself for duty? Yes, I am.
I'll have to check the documentation, because I've not been told.
Do so, please. Immediately, if it's not impossible.
No new warrant card, but I'll have another look. As you can see, we're busy right now.
Never mind. I'll wait. I'm starting to lose my patience. Well, at last.
I am sorry. The personnel department didn't send anything.
Of course I know. And the commission of my transfer has the current date?
May I see it, sir?
What's going on? Excuse me. I'll be right back.
So bring it, please. I really don't have time to waste.
I'm sure I put them in my pocket. If I was robbed, they won't even trust me to guard a playground. I can't confess. Listen, if someone happens to lose something, is there any chance you could help him?
You have to go next door, number 13, lost and found.
I think an active investigation is required. I don't have time to wait for a possible honest...
Well, it is possible indeed, but it must be an emergency. Well,
So I'm probably at a wrong address. Although I know I'll have to, I can't bring myself to tell him what's happened. I just can't bear the shame. Have a good day,
goodbye, sir.
Excuse me.
what's up?
I noticed you've been waiting here for some time.
So what?
I just wondered whether you happened to see a folder with identity papers. I must have dropped it.
What would I care for your papers? I've seen nought.
I hope you haven't.
Are you implying that I've stolen them?
And would I be far from the truth?
Just leave it out, you daft sod. Otherwise, I'm...
Drunks are always the same. Excuse me. Did you happen to see a folder with identity papers? I must have dropped it somewhere.
No, didn't see anything like. Someone's probably nicked off with...
Here? At the police station?
Sure, as they say, the darkest night is right under the candle.
I would send her to jail for her lack of manners alone. I'll keep the... They're not here. Constable, tell your superior to come here.
For what reason?
I want to report myself for duty.
So give me the commission and I'll arrange...
I don't think you understood me, Constable. I want to talk to him.
I'm sorry, sir.
I still think you didn't get it. You will have to hand me the office key in a few minutes. Don't you think it would be beneficial for you to cooperate from the very beginning?
Sir, you should understand you're asking the impossible.
As you wish. I can manage myself. But it won't benefit your career at all. Someone. I wonder if it really was her who's... No, that's pure... Fool. I wonder what it... I'll wait for a more It's too early. I'll wait. I didn't I don't want to bother you. I see you're busy, even when the respectable people are still asleep. Or is this normal with you?
Do you mean these two? The night watch picked them up.
I just wonder, what did they do? Do I need to watch my...
Definitely. These two are...
Really?
Keep your distance there, sir. A hail of curses is that...
I'll remember that. Such insolence. Listen, what you did was not very smart.
Make off, you puppet. Otherwise
And then, the place will be full of policemen in 5 seconds.
3 seconds and my pimp will crack your head.
Attacking an officer on duty. You'd both end up in jail.
You're no officer, but you will end up badly.
In that case, I hope you don't detest rats.
You know what you can do?
Can you read at all? Give me my papers. They're of no use to you.
You can dream about it.
Don't deny it. It's useless. I know you have what I'm looking for.
I warned you, you puppet. Igor, come here!
How's it going, girl?
Pretty badly. That one rides for a beating.
Do you mean that police detective?
He's what? I couldn't tell.
Shut up. I heard him talking to the officer. He's some kind of inspector, but he's lost his papers or something.
Aye, when I snitched him. Funny, eh?
Are you kidding me? I'll kill you. Give them back right now.
But I can't.
You'll pay for this, girl. The brothel is closed for you. Get it?
Wait, I didn't mean that. I was just bored. It's not written on his head as an inspector, you know.
Even if it was, you can't read, you daft sod. Work it out or I'll kill you.
Fortunately, her companion is brighter than she is. I heard everything. Now you can give them back to me.
Here you are, Inspector, sir.
It'll never stop surprising me what this vermin is capable of. Here are the transfer papers for my duty commencement.
Of course, sir. You can leave them on the table.
Here. All the papers should be in order.
And let me see. Mr. Briscoe, it is my honor to welcome you aboard.
Now it is your honor. But you wanted to put me out of doors just a few minutes ago. Someone else would surely infer certain consequences. Yet as I am a straight man. You do not need to worry.
I'm sorry, sir, if I caused you any difficulties.
I'm willing to forget it. So, what's the next step? I would like to take the office as soon as possible.
I'll arrange the new warrant for you, sir. In the meantime, you can settle in your new office. It's the door over there, next to the staircase. Here are the keys.
Anything's possible with enough effort. And now, if you could be so kind and show me the way.
Chief Inspector Powell.
How come?
Well, if mine...
But I thought I could...
Don't worry, sir.
Thank you. When can I expect to get a...
It'll not be so quick, sir.
There's no need to be sorry. Sir. Finally, my own... I didn't expect anything Service! He can't hear me. If you want something done properly, you have to do it yourself. Only a swarm of flies. Only a swarm of flies is missing. Only... I have a question. How come my predecessor has not moved his belongings out?
Sir, Inspector Lockley retired a month. As far as I know, nobody ever goes into his office. I will arrange that, sir. But you won't come until the evening, sir, if it's all right with you.
That's fine. As for Inspector Lockley's belongings, I'll put everything in a box. Then come and take it away. I don't care where.
As you wish.
A good start. First they robbed me, and now I have to be a cleaner. Constable, the keys you gave me. Do you know what the...
I thought it'd be wiser to keep them to...
You thought, well? When can I...
It'll not be so quick, sir. I'm sorry. It'll be at least a couple of days.
There's no need to be sorry. Just do your job so that I can do... Writing? It might be... Finally, it looked... It can't hold my... It would be useless... Detective Sergeant Briscoe? Of course, everything is all right. I'm at your service. I see. St. Patrick's Church. Can you give me any details? Excuse me, I just don't understand why we should deal with a complaint. I understand, sir. I'll set off immediately. I just need to know where exactly it is. All right? I'll take someone with me, as you wish. Goodbye. So, here we are. The first task. And I haven't even sat down yet. I'll take a few notes to make sure I don't forget anything. It's of no use when I don't have the code. A beautiful piece of manual work. What a surprise. St. Patrick's Church. Constable, get me an attendant, please. I'll need him the whole day.
Sergeant Carter will go with you, sir. I will send him to the gate.
Excellent. If I don't find them within the next 5 minutes...
Detective Sergeant Briscoe, sir?
Yes, and you are?
Sergeant Carter at your command, sir.
Relax.
Yeah.
Ah, good. You can tell me more about it on the way.
And, why are you, particularly interested in the church, sir?
We'll see when we get there.
Rightio, follow me, sir. Here we are, sir. The church is right behind the gate.
You found it quickly?
Thank you, sir.
No, I need you to be at my disposal the whole...
Oh, as you wish.
I'll talk to the vicar. I don't think it's necessary when the... Father Mulcahy.
Yes? Who are you?
I'm Detective Sergeant Briscoe.
You are with the police, but I explicitly requested Inspector Lockley.
I'm sorry, but he retired recently. I am his successor.
Ah, well, I suppose it cannot be helped.
How can I help?
This is a rather sensitive matter. Do you have a warrant card?
It's a bit awkward, but this is my first day on... I haven't sorted all the formalities yet.
How can I be sure you are not a journalist?
You know, there is Sergeant Carter, my attendant. I can call him in if it...
That will not be necessary, Detective. I will trust you under such... Let your attendant keep guarding, and would you please follow me?
This is it? A single broken door?
Of course. What did you expect? This is where the gentry are laid to rest, Detective. Some of these tombs have been standing here for hundreds of years. Such an event can seriously damage the reputation.
I apologize. When did you notice it?
This morning, I was looking for Mr. Talbot, the gravedigger. He likes to drink from time to time, and then he usually falls asleep among the graves, I was searching his favorite places when I found this.
All right, it would be better if you could bring him here. He might know something more. I'll take a look inside in the meanwhile.
Please, detective, you cannot do that.
Do I need permission?
No, but I cannot allow such a sacrilege. Please give me your word.
I'm sorry, but I cannot.
I'm going to look for Mr. Talbot now, and I will pray you do not make any errors, detective.
It's obvious he cares about the church. Or is there something else? We'll see. For now, I'll respect. For now, I won't get... So far, everything is quiet. For now, I'll... They must have used great strength to force the door. Maybe they weren't interested in the tomb itself. Maybe they just wanted to get in. Everything seems to be all right at first glance. I thought someone had robbed the place. At least that would explain the forced door.
Detective Briscoe! You must see this, Detective... Ah, there you are. Something terrible has happened. You have to see.
Calm down and tell me what is going on.
I can't. I'll show you. Please just follow me. Quickly. Look at this. Such a disaster.
Do you know who he was?
Mr. Talbot, the gravedigger.
How many people are there in your staff?
Only the two of us were left. Dear Lord, what shall I do now?
Did you move the body?
No. I ran to you immediately.
Father Mulcahy, I have to ask you to leave the crime scene.
You are right. It would be better.
I can imagine how difficult it must be for you, but please, stay somewhere nearby.
I will be at your disposal, Detective. You know, although he was not a particularly humble servant, he did not deserve such. God bless his soul.
I hope Carter's still at the gate. Nobody must see this. If I'd found him in the forest, I would think he had been torn. The murderer must have been covered in blood, but I can't see any solid evidence. He certainly didn't touch the pump. Except the usual occupiers, no other corpses. Another corpse. How many more will there be? A broken spine. Someone jumped on him from a great height. He must have died very slowly. An interesting catch. I'll make some notes. I don't want to get my clothes dirty. No traces of blood. Pity. I was hoping the murderer had injured himself, but it doesn't look like it. I took a walk around the graveyard. It's a pretty big area. How...
It was Mr. Talbot's responsibility. He received an extra payment for that.
Did you allow him to have a dog with him?
Oh, yes. I totally forgot about it. I will have to take care of the dog.
I'm afraid it won't be necessary. The animal is dead, too.
I simply cannot understand. Mr. Talbot trained dogs very well. Nobody was better at training dogs than him.
I suppose the dog tried to protect its master, and it kept attacking the murderer until the last breath. I also suppose the murderer fled over the top of the wall in the back part of the graveyard, where it's no problem to climb up. That's why the gravedigger's dog was killed in a different place.
But tell me, Detective, who could have done such a thing?
I'll tell you that as soon as we find him. Why did you explicitly want Inspector Lockley to come?
A strange question. Don't you know what he devoted himself to?
I've not had the pleasure of meeting him.
The inspector investigated most of those cases, nobody else, including all accusations against Sir William. We have talked to each other several times.
Was he interested in anything in particular?
Once or twice he wanted to enter Lewis's tomb. Then I think he found a better hobby. I have not seen him for weeks now.
I have to ask you, where were you last night?
We buried Sir William last night. It was the family's wish that he was buried in secret, so the funeral was after sunset. It is strange you do not know that. The police supervised the whole ceremony. After the funeral, I went to bed and fell into a deep sleep.
So you didn't hear or see anything suspicious?
No, otherwise I would have investigated.
I think that sounds credible. So, the police participated in the funeral as well? I was just on my way to Plymouth. I'd be grateful for any information.
Not directly. They only had to look out for troublemakers that might possibly try to disrupt. Sir William was very
And were there any troubles?
It depends. The police made several raids on the local disreputable public house in the hope that it would divert attention from the graveyard. It seemed to have worked. But this morning, alas, I found the damaged tomb. It is a terrible tragedy.
Sergeant, I'll need your help. I want you to prevent anybody from entering the graveyard.
Of course, sir.
We have a murder here. I don't want anybody to be blundering around.
Wouldn't it be better if I ran to the station, sir?
No, it would not. You will not move an inch from the...
Excuse me, sir, but I think...
You personally guarantee that nobody will get to the cemetery. Do you understand?
As you wish, sir. You are the detective.
The best thing I can do is report the incident myself, and the sooner the better. At least I can try out the office telephone. Detective Sergeant Briscoe, put me through to Chief Inspector Powell, please. I see. And when will he return? It's urgent. All right, I'll call back later. Please tell him I called and that I'll be in the field now if he needs to talk to me. He'll know. Goodbye. He's not here, and he should be back in 2 hours, so I'm not going to waste my time. I'll search the neighborhood to try and find clues, and...
I'm just asking, nothing more.
And I'm repeating that it is pointless. There is nothing to see in there.
Well, if there is nothing to see, why don't you allow me to go in?
I have to insist that you leave.
Oh, I perfectly understand. Who's your superior?
You can ask at the station.
Thank you very much for your helpfulness.
Any troubles, Carter?
Not at all, sir. Just this annoying journalist. He wanted to go in.
Mind he stays on this side of the wall.
Should I arrest him straight away, sir?
Do you have any reason to do that?
I think he's suspicious, sir.
Leave it up to me. Excuse me. Are you with the press?
And you with police, if I'm not mistaken.
I see there is no need to pretend anything. So I suppose you will not mind several questions, will you?
Of course not.
Sir, you have no business here, so...
Don't count on it.
Have you ever seen a prison cell from...
I have. But don't get me wrong, it's nothing to shout about.
Exactly.
Is that supposed to be a threat? You can't arrest me.
I'll do it.
I'll complain.
You can.
I'm not going to leave anyway. The public has a right to know what's going on.
He didn't swallow the bait. He's no What are you doing here so early?
There's nothing strange about it. I'm working on an article about the funeral of Sir William, which took place yesterday. You know, the nobleman, nicknamed Mad William or something. I bet I won't be the only journalist who'll come here today, so I got up early.
I suppose the family of the deceased is agreeable to that, and that...
Inspector, I hope we two are not going to trespass upon each other's patch.
Let me make it clear. I am no inspector, but I'm going to keep a close watch on you. And I'm prepared to pressure you if it's necessary.
I accept the challenge. It will be my pleasure to work with you.
Not mine, big-headed fool. Just wait, I'll show you. Did you know Sir William personally?
No, we never met, thank God.
Tell me, how can you write about someone you don't know?
Inspector, everyone knew Sir William because of what he did during his life. I've talked to plenty of people who ran away from the horror. Trust me, the stories were terrible.
Verified by whom?
The horror of those people's eyes, Inspector. It will convince you more than anything else.
This is leading nowhere. A prostitute in a church would be more credible than him. What's this? I almost overlooked it. An interesting catch. I'll make some notes. The ground is too hard. There are no footprints. Better to be safe than sorry. I poured everything out. There isn't enough light. I can't read anything. doesn't seem like someone would loot this place. The attack was aimed only... Most of them... How long have you been working as a police?
Only 2 years, sir.
Yes, I've already noticed one never gets bored in here.
Well, sometimes it is exciting. The harbour attracts various shades. You're probably used to a more peaceful place.
No.
Really, sir? I'd bite your hand off for that job, sir. Nobody could ever get me back. Why did you leave, sir?
I'm sorry, but I'd rather keep some details for myself. At least for now. Do you have any matches?
Of course, sir.
No. Sometimes I just need to shine light on something.
I have a cigarette from time to time, sir, but it's hard on the pocket. Here you are, sir.
Thank you. The tomb seems to be for male family members only. What? I can't grasp it properly. The crevice is too narrow. I don't want to get my clothes dirty. The ground is too hard. There are no footprints. Even if there was no evidence, a smoking cigarette. Even if there was... The damaged tomb. Does it belong to a significant family?
Significant? Not significant. Rather cursed.
Excuse me. What do you mean?
Exactly what I am saying. The Lewis family, one of the oldest families in the whole town, was once highly respected. But when Sir William was born, the last heir, it seemed God turned away from them. And if not God, the townspeople certainly did. Nobody could bear to look at his lifeless face. Even yesterday, at the funeral, the coffin was kept closed during the whole ceremony. The night's events are the punishment for our weakness.
Wait a minute. I need to make this clear. The damaged tomb belongs to the deceased's family, the one whose funeral was held just yesterday.
Precisely. We placed Sir William Lewis's lifeless body in his tomb in the dead of night, and this morning that same tomb was desecrated.
Father Mulcahy, can you be discreet?
I am a priest.
I was inside the tomb.
Why are you telling this to me? You will confess to God, not to me.
The coffin is empty.
What? It's not possible.
Please, stay calm.
Dear Lord, but that would surely mean... Are you sure? You opened the coffin?
It was open when I stepped in.
But what shall we do now?
For now, keep it to yourself.
You can count on that. Do you realize what a scandal this is?
Leave it to us. We will solve it. It's becoming pretty complicated. I have to find out as much about the deceased as... Is it true, what's said about Sir William?
You mean that Sir William was a beast and a monster? Yes, that is true.
I must confess that I don't know what to think.
Who of us is able to understand? But I am sure it was not God's will that he came into this world.
What do you mean?
When he was born, it was as if he wasn't one of God's creations. He had a totally lifeless face. Understand me, it is not easy to talk about it.
I understand. Tell me, how did his family cope with it?
It was very difficult, especially for his mother. She just could not bear it. And eventually the strain was such that she took her own life. We had to bury her on the Gallows Hill.
Where is it?
It is a place forgotten by God. A cemetery for suicide.
And what about his father?
He disappeared the night when all the servants left the mansion. And then only William remained with Lady Miriam, his... No, of course not. When he grew older, strange stories began to be told about him. Once, it was a dead cat in his arms. Once, he was found sitting next to a dead horse. And whenever a maid disappeared, you can easily guess whose work it was said to have been. At that time, his father was still alive and kept the estate together. But that was not to last. The servants revolted, set the house on fire. His father vanished, and only ruins remained. A sad and tragic story.
I'd like to know more.
You must excuse me, detective, but there is nothing more to say.
The coffin was closed during the whole funeral. Is that right?
Yes.
By whose request?
Lady Miriam, the grandmother of the deceased, wished it so.
That's suspicious, don't you think?
I can't understand why.
I think it might have already been empty before the funeral. Perhaps it was Lady Miriam's last attempt to protect her grandson. Everybody hates him. It almost destroyed the family. If he disappeared, he would soon be forgotten about. Lady Miriam might have faked his death in the hope that is what would happen.
I am sorry, but this seems rather far-fetched to me. The absolute isolation and the permanent fear of discovery would be worse than a prison sentence.
You're right. But people sometimes do desperate things when they have no other choice. It's possible that those delinquents tried to break into the church. Perhaps the gravedigger tried to stop them. And so they killed him.
But what do the destruction of the tomb and disappearance of the body have to do with it?
It can be a provocation, or a camouflage. They try to put us off the scent.
I cannot believe...
We're at the very beginning of the investigation. It's my duty to examine every possibility.
If I can help with anything, I am at your service.
In that case, I would like to ask you to check the church inventory, just in case something is missing.
Yes, that is a good idea. At least I can make myself useful.
If you find something out and I'm not here anymore, send a message to the station.
You can rely on me, Detective. God bless you.
I have no reason to go in. The journalist finally gave up, but there's still a strange feeling in my stomach. Do you know that man? Why the regret?
His name is Nathaniel Forrest. He brings nothing but trouble. I don't know how it's possible, sir, but any time anything happens, he's there. He's like a pain in my neck, sir.
Which newspaper does he write?
The Courier, sir. A local sheet, nothing special. He publishes a photograph, adds several pages of rubbish, but in my opinion, sir, serious people never read anything like that.
Sergeant, you told me you smoke sometime.
Yes, I'm partial to the odd smoke, sir.
How much would this kind of cigarette...
Oh, let me see. Well, hand-rolled, that's nothing unusual. It depends on the tobacco, you know. This one, for instance, smells very good. Why are you interested in it, sir?
I found it near the column. It might have belonged to someone who knows what happened.
Really? How would you know that, sir?
And what would a typical resident of this district do if they were passing by chance and saw it lying there on the footpath?
He would pick it up, sir. I see. So, someone must have thrown it away tonight.
Exactly. And it is more than probable that the person who threw it away...
In that case, sir, I have such a theory. If
Go ahead.
no one rolls a cigarette in a hurry, sir, maybe in a pub or while one is waiting for someone, I guess it would be the latter case. It takes time to prepare the whole thing, sir. It's something like a ritual of killing time.
Not only time, Sergeant. Thank you for your remark. The mysterious smoker is... But if I really want to find him, I'll need more than one cigarette. I see Mr. Forrest gave up.
Well, sir, I would think so, only if I didn't know him.
What do you mean?
It wouldn't be in his character to leave so easily.
What else could he do, in your opinion, if you know him so well?
I didn't worry as long as I had him in my sight, but now he might have found another way in. I can watch over the main gate, but the cemetery is too large. I would just like to remind you, sir, that I wanted to go to the station for support.
Thank you for the reminder, but don't worry about that. As for the journalist, he surely realized that it's useless.
If you think so, sir. You are the detective.
There's just something about it. It's really dubious that he would give up so easily. Blasted gravedigger. We have work to do, Sergeant. Someone has broken into a nobleman's family tomb.
Oh, unbelievable. What are people capable of today?
Tell me, has something similar happened before?
I don't know about anything like that, sir. Try asking the local vicar.
Yes, I was going to do that.
Shall I go to the office, sir?
Why? Do you think we'll need help?
Well, I think we might.
I'll manage, don't worry. Stop! Stay where you are! It can't be true. How did he get here? That rascal got what he deserved. I hope he's broken something too. Just you wait. I'll get you. He's gone. I wonder how I will explain this to my superiors. It wasn't his fault. Quite the contrary. If I had taken his advice, I wouldn't have to explain to my superiors how the photos of the crime scene got into the newspaper. Once it'll be necessary to search the sewers, Sergeant Carter will finally be useful. Once it'll be necessary... Two hours is plenty of time. I'd rather find some clues as the... To me, the whole of it grows how it wants and where it wants and no... The view... Listen...
Detective Lockley.
That doesn't...
I have no... He might have said...
I'll try. I suppose the best thing I can do now is phone Chief Inspector Powell. The glass plates are missing, so he must have taken them. He had this all. If I'd found him in the forest, I'm not going to touch it. I might destroy possible leads. The murderer must have been covered in blood. How many photos did he manage to take? There wasn't a... Anyway, he must have known he would lose it. The ground is too hard. There are no footprints. Pit. I don't understand why anybody would... I won't get inside without the key, and so far I do not plan to. The journalist tried to take as many photos as he could, but he didn't have as much time as I. A hand-rolled cigarette. I don't really know much about it, but I don't think this is usual cigarette paper. I wonder what an experienced smoker would think of it. I notice you are no stranger to the smoker's habits.
Well, I picked up a bit over the years, sir.
But are you also familiar with cigarette papers?
The cigarette won't let you rest, will it, sir?
I examined it under the magnifier, and it seems to me that the paper it is wrapped in is somewhat strange, but I might be wrong. That is why I'm asking you.
Can I see it, sir?
Certainly.
It is unusual, you're right, sir. One has to pay for higher quality goods. But some people are content with anything what comes into their hands. Newspapers are popular, for instance. They say it tastes better, sir, but I prefer the usual soft paper. Sorry, I can't tell what this cigarette is made of.
But obviously it's not newspaper.
Indeed, sir. Unroll it, sir. Maybe you'll find out more then.
Thank you for the advice, but that would destroy it.
As you think, sir.
Well, I expected a coin. This won't be of any substantial value. I'm no expert, but it cannot be recognized by the naked eye. No scratches, a perfect cut, and a very specific refraction of light. It takes my breath away. This must be a real diamond. I think it's high time to return to the police station now. The chief inspector will most likely be back, and he might be interested in what's going on. I think it's high time to return to the police station now. The chief inspector will most likely be back, and he might be interested in what's going on. Detective Sergeant Briscoe. Yes, that's me. Put me through, please. Good day, sir. I have several reports. The tomb of a noble family has been destroyed, but that is not the worst part at all. The body of the deceased Sir William has probably been stolen. Exactly, sir. The coffin is empty. Yes, sir, I'm totally aware it is not an ordinary robbery, but I have even more news. The gravedigger was murdered. I tried to call you, but you weren't in. So I went to do the preliminary examination of the crime scene. Yes, sir. Of course, I understand the priority, but the murder was committed in a very brutal way. The local vicar knows about the incident, but now that you bring it up, I'm afraid an intrusive journalist managed to take a picture of the gravedigger's corpse. I don't know how it happened, but we should be ready to face certain results. The Courier, some local sheet. Of course, I realize that my career depends on that. That's why I'm asking you to entrust the case to me. I won't disappoint you, sir. You can trust me. Thank you very much for your confidence. Goodbye. That was close. That damned journalist will cause nothing but trouble. Brutality attracts people like the light attracts moths. But this is my case, and it's going to be big. And once it erupts, I'll be ready.
With Brian, you never know what's going to happen. He said it'd do luck's place. It'll be the same with money. I bet he has none. After all, it wasn't so bad. I stink like a horse, but I can handle that. Brian, anchor's up. I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. I'll wake him up by firing a cannon if I have to, if I had one.